Welcome to Dromineer and our presentation on why we think we are a good candidate in our village in Dromineer in Tipperary to be part of this Aircom competition and why we think it would be very valuable for Dromineer to have excellent broadband service. So without further ado, I'll go into the presentation. We're based, as I said, in Dromineer, a little village on the outskirts of Nina, 5 miles from Nina in County Tipperary. And first of all, I have Charles Stanley Smith, and he's just going to talk to you for a few moments. As Charles says, broadband is really important to a tourist area like Dromineer, and we would really appreciate if we had this facility in the village because of the many valued people that would come back to Dromineer every year and that use the various facilities in the harbours, in the pubs, the cafes. We have a marina. You can see here an overview of Dromineer itself. We're unique in the sense that we're a little village nestled in the countryside. So obviously we have a strong farming community surrounding the little village. Because we were beside the lake, we have a harbour, 2 harbours actually, a yacht club and a boating club as well, that draw many, many people every year to the village. And we would like to be able to provide them an excellent internet service in order to attract them in the first place and also to retain them when they come here as well. So that would be super important. Here you can see a really good picture of the harbour. This is last year where there was a rally in the harbour, and these come into the harbour every year. These are people from Dublin, from all over the countryside, and they come here every year. And the thing is, when people are on boats, they need to be able to contact their friends. They need to be able to maybe email contacts in work, and it would be super important in order to have email in relation to, tourists coming into the harbour. Now, just to give you an overview of the type of people living in the area, we have teachers, we have people in law, people that are, so many different lecturers. There's people that own B&Bs, there's college students, secondary students, people working from home like myself. There's farmers who upload their herd numbers online, and kind of interesting businesses that you wouldn't necessarily think of in a small community. We have a stud farm nearby that's around for many, many years, and a lot of their the way they sell their horses, a lot of the systems are online now, and it means that they need to be able to access in order to be able to sell and upload their pictures and to be able to be business-like, and in order to conduct themselves, they need to have access to online, which is really important. As I said to you, tourists are really important to us in the community as well. They sustain many businesses in the area, and that's very important to us as well. We've some actors as well in the area, and they have told us that in order for them to receive job specs, which often come in video format, that they really need to have strong broadband as well. So that just gives you a snapshot of the type of person in the area and why they believe that it's important to have good internet. Now we have Grace, who's a UCD student, and she's going to tell you why she feels it's important to have good broadband in the area. Just bear with me. As you can see, a lot of the secondary or third level students find it difficult when they're at home at the weekend and they can't perhaps access notes. They have to go back up to Dublin or whatever university they're in, and they, in order to access various notes that would be available online. So this is an area that's of huge importance to the area, whereby we can support students, be it that they decide to study at home, which is often cheaper, or that they can come and go as they please, that they don't feel restricted, that they can't come home at the weekends because there's not very good internet service. Equally, it's the same obviously for secondary school students as well, and for teachers to be able to research their and prep their courses online as well. You can see here just a picture of one of our farmers in the locality. While you wouldn't necessarily think of farming as farmers using the internet, they're becoming very tech savvy these days, and they upload their herd numbers and do a lot of their admin work in particular online. So it's super important that they have a really good service. Equally, some of the big tractors that they have available nowadays, that are worth a lot of money, and some of the repairs indeed will be done perhaps online as well. So it's very important for the farming community as well that they have access to the internet, and that equally they can access research, or they can connect with other farmers perhaps in New Zealand or different countries, whereby they can learn new systems and connect with others. So again, it's very, very important for the farming community as well. Equally, for older farmers perhaps, that they don't feel isolated, and that they have a way of reaching out through the medium of the internet. Here we have Kilteela Stud. Again, it's perhaps an overlooked business in the sense that it's not very traditional, but this business has been in Dromineer for many, many years now, and very, very successful. They've bred quite a number of winners, and obviously in terms of streaming online, a lot of the horses have been sold abroad. It is very important that the owners of the stud farm are able to access good broadband. When they're selling the horses online now, you get live stream TV from Goffs and from Tattersalls in the UK and Ireland. And again, it's very important that they can access these online forums so that they can view their stock and see how everything is going. But at the moment, it isn't so strong. So therefore, they're kind of inhibited in many ways in this business, that they can't view some of the online streaming because of the limitations of the broadband in the area. Here we've got Shannon Sailing. Again, this is based in Dromineer itself, and this is a marina whereby they rent out spaces so people can have their boats here. We have people from all over the country, and indeed from the UK, that would have their boats here. When they're coming, they're obviously travelling for the weekend, and oftentimes, they've got to travel for maybe 2 or 3 hours to actually get to Dromineer in the first instance. When they get here, they often have to check their email, or maybe they've got to refer back to work, whereas at the moment it's extremely difficult to access their broadband and to access their emails. And this can stop people coming down for the weekends. They might go to other harbours, or they might even station their boats in different harbours around the lake, because there is actually very poor broadband in Dromineer as well. And again, this is just illustrating that this is a big business. There's 5 people working in Shannon Sailing. So even though we have a small village, we've kind of very diverse businesses in the area who all across the board need very good broadband. Here we have Waterside Cottages, and these are group cottages that again have been in business for many, many years, and they're rented out for a week at a time, and we have tourists coming from Germany, from America, from France, from all over the world. And again, when they come to Ireland, there is a level of expectation that nowadays there is good broadband, and at the moment it really is not available in the area. So it would be very important that these type of businesses continue to be sustainable through having good broadband access. And it means, when people come to the area, that they can avail of the facilities, the tourist facilities, such as fishing, as you can see here. They can stay in the cottages, they can stay on their boats, and equally they can have access to the outside world via broadband. Here's another business we have in the area, All Security Mobile Shredding, with the mobile shredding unit. They're based just a mile on the outskirts of Dromineer as well, and this company is very unusual again to the area, and excellent company that provides shredding facility for many businesses all over Ireland. And again, they require good broadband in order to market their business and in order for people to be able to see what they do. Here we've got the Lake Cafe. The Lake Cafe is kind of the central hub of Dromineer, in that everybody goes in for a cup of coffee, and indeed Declan has broadband there. It's relatively good, and a lot of people would come to the cafe to have a cup of coffee, to have breakfast, to have lunch, but equally to access the broadband as well. And he says in the morning that oftentimes, he has like a string of people literally on their phones outside the building when he comes in the morning, just people trying to access their broadband that are staying in local B&Bs or are at events in Dromineer as well. Here's Declan trying to access Skype and not having such Success. So again, this is the type of reaction typically we have, in the area where people are trying to email, they're trying to Skype, friends, business associates, and whatnot. And it's very, very frustrating when you're in a beautiful village. You want to avail of the facilities, you want to do your farming, you want to do whatever you want to do, but you can't access the online world, which is so important nowadays. So Declan is going to give a little bit of his opinion now here. That's a very valid point that Declan makes, that people come from all over the world, from very obscure places, and they just can't believe that we don't have broadband in Ireland. Also to point out, you might notice the surname there, Declan Collison. Declan's actually the uncle of the Collison brothers that have of Stripe notoriety, that have created Stripe, the business Stripe. In San Francisco, so he's their uncle. So I mean, I suppose he's got a particular interest in having very good broadband, and he's hoping that his son perhaps can follow in their footsteps. So it's really important, not just about that, but about the fact that when people come to the area, that we, as business owners, as people who live there, or tourists that come to the area, that they can have access to good broadband. Here we have the Whiskey Still pub. And again, it's a very good eating pub, very good pub restaurant. So a lot of people would come to the area just even to have a good meal, even from the surrounding district. And again, when people come down, even on their phones, they may want to contact people, or at least be able to be contactable via email, or via Skype or FaceTime or whatever. And at the moment they can't, and it's a real shame, because it is stopping them from coming into the village, and it is restricting the amount of people who will come, because they simply just go somewhere else where they can get something to eat, and equally they can have access to broadband. Here I just have my own website. I'm Emma D Marketing, Emma Darcy, as I introduced myself at the start. Basically, I have an online business where I Skype people, I deliver webinars, where I'm doing a lot of online training. And it's been really difficult for me, because I'm a single parent and I'm trying to work from home, and it's difficult when I want to run a webinar. I have to hire a room in the local town, which is 5 miles away. It costs me €10 an hour plus VAT. I need to do at least 3 webinars a week. That's about €60 a week plus VAT. Then I have to get somebody to do the babysitting, and I really have to organise my whole life around not having broadband, basically. And I can't really operate my business to the optimal level, because when I'm Skyping people abroad, they just can't believe that the signal keeps dropping. They can't see what I'm doing, they can't hear me, it's crackling, and it's really limiting me in my business, in my online business, in the fact that I have to constantly go out of the village in order for me to do my work. So please note that it's really important for new businesses to start. There's a potential there for many of the businesses in Dromineer to expand, and really the lack of broadband is really prohibitive towards people moving forward in their businesses. Here we have the Lough Yacht Club. It's one of the oldest yacht clubs in the world. It's a really prolific yacht club. They have competitions every year. You can see here, I think that was from 2013. There's a lot of regattas every year. Again, a lot of sailors come here from all over the world every year. Every summer they have courses for children, courses for adults, and it really, really is a hub of activity every year, where people come and pay to go out sailing on the lake, or to learn how to sail, or to use their boats, whichever they do. So there's a lot of activity, and this Lough Yacht Club brings in hundreds of thousands of revenue into Dromineer and the surrounding area every year. And they pitch for big events, worldwide events, and they run them there. It's a really, really good yacht club. They're very inclusive with people in the area. And it is such a shame when visitors come. Again, they're restricted, because a lot of times they come for a week, and maybe they have children sailing, but they need to access work or email as well, and they can't do because of the lack of broadband. And we genuinely get visitors from literally, as Declan was talking about, Africa and all over the world. So this is from 2013, the World Mirror Championships, and this is just representative of many, many competitions that are run in Dromineer every year. Here's, a really good shot of some of the sailboats and what they look like out on the lake. They look really spectacular. And again, this is from the World Championships. We really have lots and lots of visitors every year. Even though it's a small village, there's a lot going on. Now we have Stuart Andrews, who's an actor, and he's going to explain to you why it's important for him to have broadband. Yeah, so Stuart makes some very valid points there in terms of, people looking for work, being able to access videos, access video downloads, be it looking for work or for college or for school or just in general. We are kind of limited because we don't have access to good broadband. Here you can see, just in terms of the general facilities in Dromineer, as I said to you earlier, there is strong farming contingent in Dromineer. We also have the pub, we have the cafe, we have the yacht club, we've got the marina, we've got all security mobile shredding, my own business, M&D Marketing. There's a number of people working from home as consultants. We have lecturers, so there's quite a diverse group of people living in Dromineer. Some people are, they're retired, so they still like to access and Skype people, if they're from the UK or whatnot. So it's really important that they have access to good broadband as well. You can see here we've got a very good playground. And again, this is kind of brings everyone to Dromineer. We have so many facilities which are fantastic. There's Neddy Hogan's cottage, which was built in a day back in the 40s, I think it was. And again, we've got beautiful scenery, kind of old world cottages, but we want to be able to move with the times and be able to access broadband and connect with the world outside while we're living in such a beautiful little village. Here's the castle, the ruins, and you can see here the Lake Cafe. This is from in the middle of the harbour, or the middle of the marina, and some beautiful shots of the area. We also have a lot of competitions in the area as well, not just with the yacht club, but the triathlons, and we have kayaking as well. Like, people come kayaking every week. There's a club that comes down every week. This is a triathlon. They come here every week to train, and equally they would come down. You can see here they've got a competition that was held here a couple of weeks back. Very, very popular, and people travel from all over the country to come and participate. They kind of take over the village for kind of half a day or whatever, but we love having them. And again, when they come down, for training during the week, or if they're down at the weekends, again, people do need to access the broadband, even we'll say in terms of uploading videos and whatnot. Here we have a lovely rainbow, and I suppose our wish from us to you is that we wish we had good broadband, and we're hoping that you can deliver that pot of gold, for us, because it really, really would help us to improve our lives. Here we've got some of the young children and one of the oldest members of the community, Biddy, in the community. And again, even Biddy, and that's my young daughter and my young niece. They like to access YouTube. They like to, be able to access little games for the young children. And for Biddy and Rita, who's from the pub, they like to Skype their family and friends who live away, and having good broadband will facilitate that. So please help us to have that. You can see here there's a sunset from Dromineer in the evening time. It's a really, really beautiful place. We've got a mixture of everything. We're near to the motorway. We can go to Dublin in 2 hours. We can go to Limerick in half an hour. We're near to Cork. We have farming community, beautiful scenery. We can go walking, hiking, boating, horse riding. There's such a mix there. There's the harbour again. Some beautiful pictures. We also have a very good literary festival that's actually starting tomorrow, the 1st. In 2 days, on the 1st of October to the 3rd, and we have illustrious people coming every year to Dromineer to the literary festival. So again, there's the art side of Dromineer, and many people would come and visit because of the festival as well. Here again is a picture of somebody getting a fish, because again, we have a lot of tourists from that as well. Also, something you mightn't have thought of is we actually have a number of barges in the harbour, because if you want to moor for the winter, you can actually moor from October to March for, I think, is it €80 in different harbours. And many people actually on the lake are starting to live on their boats. So there's an example of a boat where somebody's living on it, and equally there's 3 more in the harbour as well. So these people in particular need to be able to access broadband and be able to connect with people outside, not just on their phones. So this is necessary for them as well. Here we have the RNLI. So we do have an RNLI station in Dromineer as well. And again, in terms of access to broadband and access to communications, it's very important for them to have access as well. So that's a really, really important service, because lots of people get into difficulty with boats and with swimming and whatnot. So having the RNLI situation in Dromineer is a massive bonus to us and to the surrounding areas, because they've rescued many, many people over the years, and again it would help the RNLI as well. Again, some beautiful shots of the harbour, and again it's just to illustrate that we really have a beautiful village, and because of that we get thousands of visitors every year that come to visit and that come to stay, that have holiday homes in the area, that stay on boats, that come down to visit their relations, that go swimming and fishing and boating and whatnot, and they need access to broadband. Here again is a picture of the triathlon. It's just a snapshot later on in the morning. So these are big events, even though we're just a small village. Here we're raising money for a defibrillator, so we have lots of local foodie industries coming and showcasing their produce. So it's a very live community, and we would really hope that we could expand. We have an owl in the village as well, and in the castle actually as well. So lots of people, lots of flora and fauna, and there's something for everybody really in Dromineer, and we would love that we could provide a very good broadband service alongside all of the other services that we have in Dromineer already. So I'd like to thank you very much, and I hope you strongly think about bringing broadband to our area.